lose a fourth game, I think even the best teams, even at top level, that can be hard to shake off of your mental. Make sure, like, okay, come on, all right. So at this point, I think you just have to force yourself to be like, okay, we're etch-a-sketching that last set. We know that we really need to win this one. Everybody take a deep breath. We're going to go in. They're not changing up anything comp-wise. I'll be interested to see if they are adapting with their opening here, if they're adapting how they're taking these fights. They're just going, okay, we overcommitted earlier, and we need to make sure that we're not doing that this time, that we're not losing too many people when we move in. And so far, Vantablack has had a pretty strong position so far in this opening. They haven't gotten any points, but until about now. Earlier, I thought, okay, we're setting up in some strong positions, but now we're starting to lose players. And when you have a slosher trying to get you, fortunately, at least you have Hal on those splat dualies able to call them out. PogChamp in a really difficult position. I think at this point, the best you can do is pop that bubble, try to hold this space, and wait for the rest of your team to come in, which is what is happening now for Vantablack. True setup.
Hal was doing a fantastic job of locking down that left side flank, which is where Altruist, especially that slosher, was trying to go. But Hal was winning fights over there, and even when they were getting splatted and canceled, jumped right back in it and immediately continued to fight on that left side. And when you got that player controlling that one flank, that makes it so much easier for the rest of the players for Vantablack to realize, okay, now we just got to make sure we get the right, and then everything in front of us is clear. We can take that down. So credit to Hal for shutting down that one alleyway. Vantablack now in lead, no penalty points, getting in their way. They can work with the KO right here, but the Dynamo opting to just kind of stay back and just keep turfing over the zone. It means they're not going to get a lot of support from the rest of the team to start pushing up here, and Altruist can just get the zone, start cleaning up. But still, Vantablack was something they haven't had in the previous match of the Grand Finals, a decent lead they have to work with. So now they can switch their mentality. It's not so much crawling to stay to like climb up the mountain. They can just set up defensively and try to bleed out the clock here in a tug of war situation. Different mentality for them now, and it might be a breath of fresh air they need.
Yeah, the Vantablack did just lose several people. Those strikes are going to come out. Hal is doing their best to stay alive here. Did have to jump out, at least pulled some attention away over to the right for a little bit. Lyco is able to set up now on this tent. Is going to be forced to drop because of that suction bomb, though. And if you're Vantablack, you need to make sure that you are setting up to retake this zone. PogChamp is going to get taken out, though, unfortunately. Did deploy the bubbler, but wasn't able to have it be up soon enough for them to stay alive. Strikes are coming out. Altruist wants to keep control of this zone. They're so close to getting the lead, and they do. So many members of Vantablack are down. This is not looking good for Vantablack.
Well, Altruist, being the selfless people that they are, might give them one more opportunity to do something here. And instead, not going to be just getting to the zone a little bit too slowly. Nice job by Altruist to slow them down. Weathering the storm, Vantablack in the best stretch that they've played in this Grand Finals came in that game, but it still wasn't enough as Altruist, again, I mean, the longer these things kind of go on, the more confidence you get, the more pressure gets put on the other team. It's like, man, we played 4 games and we can't get a win in one of these. Just mentally, it's difficult to overcome. But they had moments. I mean, it's again, Hal played fantastically, shutting down that left flank. It's just when they got wiped out and they lost control of mid, breaking out of their own spawn's been a lot of difficulty for them so far in these Splat Zone games that they play. But this is where the counter picks come into play. They tried repeating stages against Altruist twice in a row. They lost both of them. Do they have something else they can work with? I hope they don't pick the same things over and over again. But they might opt to do that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, if I were them at this point, I would really just have to tell myself, okay, well, something needs to change. Something needs to change here because we're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not working. They're going to take us over to Tower Control Mecomart. And I will be interested to see how this goes for them against Double Bucket from Altruist.
So they're probably thinking Dynamo.
Yeah, of course.
If we could get that rocking here. Crab and Splat Dualies has been a very popular... I mean, there's no weapon you can pick here that's going to be bad, but there are some that are stronger than others. But I feel like they're thinking, we get... Howl has had some good, strong moments there. Let's get them rolling on this stage. Let's get our Dynamo to key spots to where they can be aggressive and they don't have to stay back and kind of attack the zone. They can move with the objective. So, I mean, yeah, you're going up against Double Slosher, but I mean, again, it's not like this is going to be a stage that's going to trip up your opponent, but maybe you can find something on a comfort level. And they couldn't counterpick this last time because Miko was game 1, so that removed it as a counterpick option for tower control, regardless of who won it. And right now, it is Vantablack getting the opening right here. PogChamp cleaning up the last player as well. A delayed wipeout.
Yeah, setting up strong. You know, Alibi on, a bucket of their own is setting for holding this ledge area. It's going to strike it out to make sure that they get through this choke area. Bubble's also going to come out from PogChamp, still holding that position. And, you can tell, like, okay, please keep moving the tower. Please keep moving the tower. I was able to buy some time and eat up some space here. Please move it to the right.
It's like when the car's out of gas and you're just pushing it forward a little bit at a time. Vantablack able to clear the first checkpoint, but sneaks on a few more points as well. I mean, every point you get does so much for your morale. And again, keep in mind, Vantablack, they've lost 4 in a row. All they got to do is win this one. It's a tie set 1-1. The last set doesn't matter at all. But here comes Altruist pushing forward with the objective, throwing some ink strikes a little bit early to try to clear out space around that first checkpoint. But here comes the Crab on top of the other specials thrown earlier. PogChamp from behind as well. They saved the first checkpoint. So not only do they get a good opening lead, but for the first time as well, Vantablack holds on to it, at least for a little bit longer. Octoseal's is doing some Octoseal-like activity right now, and it's working.
Working very effectively. That looks definitely a bit of a staggered rollout from the front lines on Vantablack. They had a good idea, but I think it just wasn't executed super well. It's, they've been here for several hours now. I could tell they're probably pretty tired. But, Altruist has been playing all day. They're plenty tired as well. Right now, this score is neck and neck. Vantablack does have the lead here at 46. They do still have this. They're going to start sending it back towards the other direction, but look at all of that yellow-green paint. PogChamp's doing their best to hold this area, but really need the rest of the team to start pushing in.
Yeah, if you're a bystander in the grocery store right now and you're just turning your head and seeing this, not only are you horrified at what you're seeing, but your also thought is, wow, there's a lot of yellow on that side of the store area, and that's in favor of the team that is currently not winning. They don't even have to get to the second checkpoint to steal a lead, but Vantablack having a lot of difficulties breaking out of their spawn. The Dynamo gets a key splat. That'll allow them to get the left side stack area here. That won't save the lead, but it might do enough to at least hold on to the checkpoint, and I say that saying that the PogChamp Decapitator is the last player up for Vantablack, so the checkpoint falls as well. Altruist just keeps the snowball rolling.
They're setting up so well. Octoseal didn't even need to do a recited there. Just, was doing it before that fight got decided. And that is another win for Altruist. They have won, 5 games in a row just on the grand final side of things, not counting from earlier.
Oh, if this was a Ludi set, this would be over. I mean, they just 5-0. They just straight up 5-0'd them. And, in a span of about 30 minutes or so. Now, this Vantablack did beat them earlier in winners finals. And if Vantablack were to win this one, I don't even know that's not a reverse sweep. That's like a beyond reverse sweep. I don't even know what the correct term is. We would have to invent a new term. If Vantablack won this lowing, it would be known as the Vantablack sweep. Reverse sweep, if they were able to pull that off. But I mean, it's just one of those things where the tournament drags on and it just gets away from you, and it's so hard to kind of get that mojo back. Because Vantablack has been playing arguably better in this match than they were before. They're getting better leads. They're finding ways to hold on to things, but Altruist just controls the stage so well that it's hard for Vantablack to get anything going once Altruist finally gets their footing down. And I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're just kind of running out of gas, and it's hard to find a way to refuel when you have no options presented to you. But one more counter pick ready to go for Vantablack. It's not done yet. We'll see what they can pull off here.
Vantablack needs an IRL Tacticooler. I guess it's just an energy drink at this point. But yeah, at this point, I think energy is low. There's just not a whole lot of gas in that car. You're just trying and begging for it to make it to the finish line. I think the retakes have been especially difficult for them. They've had strong offenses, but when they don't control the stage, it's Altruist's playground. And Altruist has been so good at figuring out, even if they're not in the lead, how do we control space so that we're setting up opportunities for us to take the lead? Because they know Vantablack's going to slip up at some point, and once they do, they can take advantage of it.
Renzo was in a previous. I saw someone in chat saying that they're out of gas because they're old. I was like, wait, but is that one of the players on the team? It's not. Tower control ship shape. I mean, at this point, what can you do? I mean, there's no. If you had like a perfect counter pick, you would have used it at some point up to now. So if tower control ship shape, 1 point loss in the last match. You know, let's just go to the one match or the one stage we are the most comfortable in, and let's just see what happens. All it takes is one win. It starts with one, and if you're Altruist, this almost feels like a must-win as well. Just like, hey, let's not give them any hope. The worst thing you give a team that's reeling is hope, because hope is a powerful thing, and Altruist will need to shut that down immediately. Vantablack's been getting the early leads so far in bracket reset. They're just not holding on to them. At least the openings have been working out. PogChamp trying to make something happen immediately on the enemy side of the stage.
And you know what? Got a 2-for-1 there. Not too shabby at all. Alibi's here to start moving in off of that, and several other members are coming back in. Slider's gonna shut down Alibi there. Hal is trying to take a fight that they are going to lose. Lyco's gonna be forced to give up that tower, not even try to eke out that first checkpoint being cleared, which correct move there. I wouldn't complain about that. So you know what? Okay, we weren't able to clear that first checkpoint in our first push. Let's just make sure that we don't all wipe here. That would be so terrible. Alibi setting up again, but Lyco getting taken out. Hal's also in a 1v2. Things are scattered for Vantablack right now.
The nice little double right there as the last player left. Now, look, if you lose this first checkpoint, honestly, who cares? I mean, we've seen this stage so much that we've kind of analyzed every aspect of it at this point. But if I'm Vantablack, yes, I'm frustrated. I essentially got a delayed wipeout. But that double by Alibi at the end right there opens you up to getting back in, gives you some momentum into your arsenal here, as some strikes being thrown out by Altruist to try to disperse the members of Vantablack, to try to get a push going yet again as two more players kind of explode out of nowhere. Hey, this might be a wipeout. It is.
Yes, PogChamp using the max range of that decav very effectively there, able to pick off somebody who was running away. Now they can set up. I would not be shocked if they cleared this first checkpoint here. They are ticking through. They have a lot of map control now, which historically has not been very strong for them. Wintrees is poking at them from that left side. The slider comes in, but it's going to hit that tower, and that's just not going to get anybody out. But, you know, did set up the rest of the team to start moving in off of that, which is arguably actually the most important part of Reef Sliders, to set up those opportunities for your teammates to take advantage of. And Altruist has been doing that so well that they're like, sigh, we want to see Vantablack come back from this, because they've had such good moments. It just hasn't been translating into game wins.
all 4 members of Vantablack have stealth jump, and I've noticed they take a lot of opportunities to, like, let's just go for it. Like, if somebody's there, let's just jump in. And it seems like they get punished more often than they're succeeding with that kind of strategy. This could be lead going back to Altruist. It will be. But again, no other team really cares unless you can clear that second checkpoint. Crab being popped on Vantablack. Buff Shack is starting to back off right there, calling the white flag on that push. But they get what they needed. They get the lead. And they basically get to the second checkpoint. So there's a bit of ways Vantablack will need to go, as Howl trying to get some splats starting to push up. Alibi going back over there as well, but good hold by Altruist, not feeding into anything, just poking key areas, making sure they don't give up enough of the stage to where Vantablack can get back into this one.
Strong retake here from Altruist. That's been very, very important here. It's really been the team who's excelling at the retakes, has been the one who's taking these game wins. But Vantablack is setting up for a strong thing here. Unfortunately, Hal was knocked off of the tower and is so obnoxious to get back on that when you're in the crab tank. And I think he's got it. Nope, barely surviving here with the dodge roll. They do have the lead, though. They did manage to get it back. Lyco is holding a really nice area. They held that bats for a little bit. The rest of Vantablack is back in again. So this is a prolonged push. The slide is going to come out. I'm not sure if it's going to get a whole lot of value out of here. Never mind. Altruist Seal able to get a pick there. Wintrees is pushing in with other members of Altruist to come in, but look at the strikes just going left and right and touching your toes, and it's just Vantablack showing that they have life again.
No, you threw the ink strike at my toes. Not that. It's enough to displace everything and shut down the push. The Vantablack team doesn't clear the second checkpoint, but now it does matter because there's only one more push opportunity for Altruist, and they're going to have to get a good chunk of the way through that second checkpoint if they want to claim the low ink title right here, right now. Vantablack loses a couple of players. Are they going to have ink strikes ready to go? They do. They have the ink strikes online and in the perfect position to say, all right, I'm just going to stay here and make sure. They have to stay at that checkpoint for a long time if Altruist wants to get the lead. But 2 players coming down. Here comes the reslider, which means the tower's going to be left all alone. They throw the ink strikes out early. Is it going to be enough to get the tower? They do. Vantablack says, no, 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 you're not going to win. Nobody beats us 6 times in a row. We're going to stop the bleeding at 5. And as crazy as it sounds, they just have to win 2 more games, and they're the low ink champions all of a sudden.
That's true. You can just, trick yourself and be like, that the previous set didn't matter. Didn't matter. It's in the past. It doesn't mean anything. We just have to win next 2 games. And then we take it back. And that would be a storyline for the ages. Lyco managing to get onto the tower with the strikes. I really saved that. At first, I was really concerned. PogChamps had some amazing moments here. Earlier, I was really worried that they were overextending on that push and making so then nobody was going to be able to take advantage of the GG strikes. But Lyco said, oh, okay, somebody needs to get on the tower, and I'm going to run in and do it while everybody's distracted. This push here from Altruist was really strong early in the game. It was just, this was a game of people fighting for inches at a time, just trying to get to that second checkpoint. Both sides here. And Vantablack, when they finally did it, was huge.
And now we get to see Altruist do something they haven't done in a while. Make a counter pick. In fact, the last time they made a counter pick was in the previous match where they picked tower control ship shape. Obviously, they can't do that because ship shape is now out of the question. They can pick splat zones because their most recent mode win is tower control. So they just can't pick tower control, period. They can go to splat zones. They're opting to go with Robo Ramen, where they closed out Luderser's finals with a victory as well. So they're going with what I think is a very smart counter pick for them. They've been dominant in splat zones, although Altruist had their opportunities at Hagglefish Market, but they're trying to close this out right here and not let Vantablack get even further back into this one and force a decisive game 5. Still championship point For Altruist, nothing changing coming out from either team as far as the comp is concerned. You dance with the one that you brought.
They have favorites. They know exactly what they're going to do with them. Starting to move in now. Initial points on the board, but it means nothing. It means nothing. Things will be going back and forth for a little bit. Both teams vying for control here.
Vantablack with the 2 penalty points, meaning their total score is 101. How does that math work out? I never know how that... It also is weird when you get 100 remaining and then +1 penalty points. Whatever. Altruist has everything. They even got the spinner on the Robo Ramen Bowl at the top of the stage. And now, Vantablack, as we've mentioned before, retakes, not so good. This is a situation where they have to figure that out now or their tournament run is over. Here comes a Reef Slider right on top of PogChamp, but it ends up being a trade. Still, the zone is ticking away. This might be the tournament unless they find some specials or some splats to keep it going.
Liko is the one alive here along with Alibi. Alibi's going to throw those strikes on your zone. Liko's able to help get some paint on there. Is going to go down, but they are still in it. They're down to 87, ticking down further, but more importantly, they were able to slow down Altruist at least for a moment here. PogChamp gonna get caught out a little bit here, gonna get taken out. I think what we've really been seeing is that Vantablack has been playing sometimes far forward when they don't have that space. That decab wants to charge in, like they're doing right now, using that bubble to maintain some space here. But then immediately goes charging out of it, gets taken out for it. But you know what? In this case, not so bad. It set up the rest of the team to jump to that bubble very, very quickly, taking a ton of space. Now they can set up, force Altruist to have to execute their own retake here. Strikes going out. Octoseal does have a slide online. Now I don't expect to see sliding only for zone to be able to cap that. It's just going to be too difficult now with the changes to Reef Slider with how large the zone is. But able to take that position right there perfectly with the slider. Gets traded out here. They don't. That slide was really meant to take out that Dynamo here, but the rest of the team wasn't able to really capitalize on that. And you see that ended up being a really bad trade for Altruist. Vantablack looks like they're going to take the lead right. No, I may have cursed it. My bad.
The 1 point meme, I was thinking the same thing because I thought, okay, all they have to work with, Altruist, is the ink strikes, but that player's a bit too far back. However, they're able to get the zone and they're able to throw the strikes in the right spot to combine where everybody else was turfing. It just saved the lead barely, but Vantablack has something they can work with here. They got a little bit of momentum. You got a Dynamo drown into enemy ink. That's not ideal, as Gibbons does a fantastic job of pushing up and getting a splat. But this is not a comfortable situation for Altruist. Vantablack has finally woke up. Here comes the crab take on top of the uninkable wall, trying to get a few more splats. They do get rid of the Dread Ringer, and this opens up the door for them to get the zone back. However, Altruist is going to add a little bit to their lead, getting rid of the penalty points, adding +2. But man, this is a very tight finish here to game 4. 1:30 left to go.
Vantablack is doing their best now to try to take these fights as a team. The strikes are going to open up a little bit of space onto the opponent's ramp here. PogChamp is going to go in, take advantage of that, but no, going down. The slide would have taken them down anyway. They still haven't been able to have a strong control of this zone here. How doing everything they can to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like people on Vantablack have been going down one after the other. They're going to have a strong hold of this. Otherwise, they're just going to chew through a couple penalty points and then get some more when they lose control. So at this point, you really have to make sure when we're setting up for hold of zone, we're actually holding zone.
Oh my gosh, PogChamp keeps trying to hit a home run. PogChamp is just dead set on trying to 1v4 them and try to find a way to just blow the doors wide open. But there it is! 3 players going down for Altruist. They don't need PogChamp now, and the jailbreak is on. Vantablack getting set up into a lockout position with 30 seconds left to go. The question is, what specials are going to be online? Hal gets eliminated. Ken Gibbons gets one more splat as well. That might be a way for Altruist to get back into the zone. Here comes the Reslider as well. Zone going into Altruist. They do lose a couple players on top of it. That is your wipeout 10 seconds left to go. I don't think they can even get back to zone in time. Altruist might have shut down the final breath from Vantablack, and they will win Low Ink. It wasn't as easy as we thought it was. Way more exciting than it had any right to be, but Altruist finally closed it out, and they win Low Ink.
Losing only one game in a bracket reset. A single game loss. Extremely strong play from them from a long day of Splatoon. Not